guys, it's your girl, Ashley Kirkwood with the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast, where we teach you how to start at the top of the speaking market instead of working your way up from the bottom. During this show, you will hear solo episodes from me, where I'll show you how I have landed and negotiated 5- and 6-figure speaking contracts and licensing deals. You'll also hear from our amazing guests who have grown enormous speaking businesses by utilizing sales and marketing principles that work. If you want to grow your speaking business, listen to this podcast, and then afterwards, head on over to ashleynicolekirkwood.shop and grab my book, Speak Your Way to Cash, How to Start at the Top of the Speaking Market instead of working your way up from the bottom. Ready to dive in? Let's go. Hey, y'all. What's up to the Speak Your Way to Cash family? It's Ashley Kirkwood back again with another podcast episode. But this time, guys, I am actually going to let you listen in to a live video that I recorded. Now, if you're listening to this live video on the podcast and you're like, I want to join your next live, I want to ask you questions, I want to be able to get feedback about my business, then you have to follow me on Instagram at The Ashley Nicole Show, and make sure you're following the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook page, all right? Make sure you're following the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook page because that's where I go live. I also sometimes go live in the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook group, but enough about that. Even though you may have missed it live, you're about to hear it again. So listen into this live episode and let me know what you think. You can always send me an email to ashley@speakyourwaytocash.com. Let's listen in. Hello. So my name is Ashley Kirkwood, attorney Ashley Kirkwood. I am the founder of Mobile General Counsel and an industry busting brand called Speak Your Way to Cash, where I teach speakers how to land 5- and 6-figure corporate speaking contracts. And I've had an action-packed day, but I was like, let me take a little time and talk to my people about how not to regret your investment, because we're at a point now where the internet has lowered barriers to entry. It is what it is. And really, the beautiful thing about this is, and the great thing about this is, I got so many water bottles on my desk, y'all, so if you see me moving stuff, that's why. But the great thing about this is, and I got notes, so you know we're about to get into some stuff. So share this with 3 friends and have them come. Just click that little triangle and drop your questions in the chat. Hello. So the great thing about low barriers to entry, let's start with the good. The great thing about that is it has allowed people who didn't have the traditional markers of success to create their own success. And to me, that's a great thing. That's a powerful thing. What it has also allowed, though, is for some manipulation. Like, let's just be real. Every good thing has a little bit of bad to it. But what I have seen and heard about recently in talking to people and in engaging with other coaches and in talking to consumers and people who haven't had good experiences or who have involved themselves in a lot of different programs or events or courses, is I have heard that people's expectations have drastically shifted for what they want. And so I want to be a solutionist because I believe that the richest people in the world are the people that solve other folks' problems. So the wealthiest people in the world are people who solve other people's problems, the most fulfilled people in the world, the people who don't really have to worry about what happens in the market. You're always putting your pulse on it. But when you're a solutionist, when you're someone who can solve other people's problems and you look at the world that way, you will always have something to sell as a solution. Y'all feel me? So if that makes sense, just drop "make sense" in the chat. So let's talk about how not to regret your investment. Because, and I'm going to tell you guys how I go into investments. And I'm going to tell y'all some horror stories, okay? And I'm going to tell you some amazing wins. And then I'm going to tell you how even my horror stories turned out to be a huge blessing in my life. And I believe that God is so perfect the way I know God for myself is that He's so perfect that if I take action towards the thing that He's put me on this planet for, I trust that He will duplicate my efforts. And even if the solution for me doesn't look exactly like how I wanted it to look, I'm gonna still get mine out of it anyways. Like, that's just what I believe. And what I have learned about the human mind and about how we work and about how we do things and our expectations is when you believe something, your vision is 100% based on those belief systems. So if I go into a situation feeling like it's not going to be fun, feeling like it's going to be negative, feeling like it's going to be a scam, then guess what? Every single day I'm in that thing, I'm looking for the scam, I'm looking for the negativity, I'm looking for things not to be great. But if I go in with the mindset of like, everything I touch turns to gold. Every room I'm in, I'm supposed to be there. And even if I make a wrong turn and I'm not supposed to be there, because I'm there, the environment will benefit and thus I am being of service. So I'm going to get my blessing anyways. Y'all feel me? So I have 5 things that I want to talk about, and I have notes because I have to stay on track, and then I got to go hang out with the fam, right? I got 5 things that will assist you in ensuring that you get what you need to get out of your investment, how not to regret your investment. So number 1, and this is a big one for people, okay? So I want someone to do me a favor, and if you're watching this live, help a sister out and drop number 1 in the chat. Number 1 is leverage access. Number 1 is leverage access, okay? Number 1 is leverage access. Now let's talk about this. When you invest with someone, right? Let's go with the coaching example. When you invest with someone, you are automatically buying access. Roll with me on this. I'm gonna explain this. You're buying some level of access, okay? What I see though is when people invest, they're not always leveraging that access. So if there is a way for you to ask questions and you have to submit them through a portal, submit the question. If there's a cap on your questions, you need to be submitting up to the cap. You know what I mean? Because you need to make sure that whenever you invest with someone, whenever you're involved in a coaching program, whenever you pay someone to do a service even, like let's say it's not coaching. Like right now I'm going through the editing process of my book. I ask the editor I'm asking about, because I'm extra, right? And I'm intense. So I'm like, what's the rule for this? Point me to it. I want to read it. I want to learn about it. Like I'm asking questions because I have to leverage the access that I have paid for. Now be respectful. Go through people's processes and systems and ask it however they want you to ask it. But you need to leverage access, because what I see and what I have heard from working with people time and time again is like, man, I made this investment and it didn't work. And this is why it didn't work. And I asked like, okay, well, did you ask them questions about that? No, I didn't ask that. I just didn't. I just felt like they wouldn't blah, 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 blah. Let me repeat that. Did you ask them questions? And the response, no, I felt like they wouldn't answer, or I felt like that wasn't a good question, or I felt like this, I felt like that. Your feelings will deceive you, okay? That's a sub point 1A. Your feelings will deceive you. It may feel, if you weren't the person in class to raise your hand every time you had a question because you didn't want other people to like look at you funny, then you may be someone that doesn't ask a lot of questions through life. But let me tell you how, when I was in school, my grades went from barely graduating college to 3.86 GPA from Northwestern Law School. I'm gonna give y'all the accuracy of that GPA. It went from 2.1 in college to 3.8 from Northwestern cum laude, solely based on the number of questions that I asked. What a lot of people do is they go through life like most students go through life. They listen to the professor, they sit in the back of the class, they have questions, but they assume, I'll read the book later and I'll get it. No, when I went to law school, I was like, look, I'm paying a lot of money to be here. And I believe I need to get the most out of my investment. So I was in office hours every week. I had questions. I wrote down questions. When I was reading and going through the material, I kept a running list of questions and I would email them to my professor. Because if it pops in my head, it's a valid concern. And maybe it's addressed later, but maybe it's not. In any event, I need my questions answered. And because I have made an investment, I deserve to leverage my access. You see what I'm saying here? So every time you make an investment in yourself, some of you are coming to Speak Your Way to Cash Live. So do this, right? You make an investment in yourself. You need to be the person to ensure that you're getting all of your questions answered. Okay, you want to make sure that you're getting all of your questions answered. That's critical. That is critical. Are you getting all of your questions answered? So 1 is leverage access. Number 2, build relationships. Build relationships. We had Jim Cathcart come and speak to our students today in the Speak Your Way to Cash Academy, and he was amazing. Hey, Kelly, I see you. He was so good. And one of the things he talked about is relationship selling. And I think that because of the internet age, we have a warped view of relationships. We have a transactional view of relationships. But once you join a community and once you've paid for certain access, then this is your time to build relationships. And the way that you build relationships is by showing an interest in other people and what they're interested in. It's by asking them questions about their life, figuring out how you can help and serve them. So you want to make sure that you are leveraging your access, number one, but then two, you're building relationships. And let me be clear about this. People think that this is what I do that has helped me a lot in business. And I'm hoping, and this is what I saw a lot of people do at Speak Your Way to Cash Live last year. When you join, it's not about just your relationship with me as the coach. No. If there are other people in my community, in the community that you have paid to have access to, you need to make it your point to do coffee chats with everyone else in the community, to build real relationships. Because I'll tell you, most people that I talk to are like, how do I find clients? How do I find clients? Please. What do I say? It's not working. Like they're like stressed about finding new clients all the time. But the fact of the matter is, after you have your initial set of clients, whatever that set is, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 100. I don't care what that number is. You need to then be connected to the people that are like those people. Because if you like those people that you're connected to, that you're working with, that you're doing business with, you need to ask them, if you've done good work for them, can they introduce you to other like-minded people? Do a private event just for the friends of your clients. Do whatever it takes for you to build relationships, not just with the main person or the coach or whomever, but with the community that they're in. Let me give you another example. I'm doing my final interview for the Goldman Sachs cohort. When I was evaluating whether this was something that I wanted to be a part of, one of the considerations was not just the main program. Like the main program is good, but it's a time investment. And for me, having a little one, things that take my time, I'm kind of like, woo, I don't know. But the second thing I consider is how large is the community that I would then be a part of? And how many people within that community are in my ideal audience at all? And in what ways could I leverage having that community on my back? So if you're someone who went to college, does your alumni association know what you do? Have you reached out to all the people with the job titles that could hire you who also went to your school, whether it be undergrad, high school, or graduate school? If your mom works at a particular company, can she introduce you to the sister company? Like whatever communities you're a part of, you need to be able to build relationships within those communities. A lot of people are just working too hard. They want to start from scratch. They want to find new clients every month. When if you would just open your eyes to the people that have already given you money, already given you their time, because there are two currencies, money and time. Both of them are valuable. So if you have people that are constantly watching your live videos, constantly sharing your content, constantly commenting, constantly involved, constantly around you, they're paying you in time. So how can you then meet more people like them and have a conversation with them to get them to move from viewer to consumer to client? So like maybe they're already consuming content. How do you get them from consumer to client? What does that look like? Have you asked them, do they enjoy your content? What do they like about it? I see you've joined a lot of my lives. What are you getting from it? What do you like about it? Tell me, I want to know. Like, I love hearing from people who watch it. Any feedback? What topics do you want to hear about next? But what are those? Questions. Those are all questions. It all goes back to questions. You have to ask questions. You have to be inquisitive if you want to leverage access and build relationships. That is what it is. And you don't want to ask questions because it's on a script. So we have scripts, we have templates, we have all of that. But one question I don't get that I think is a great question, and lawyers ask questions for a living, so I know these are skills that can be learned and developed. But one of the questions I don't get is like, why do we ask this question? What's the heart of what we're trying to get at here? And so if you have scripts or templates or SOPs or processes that you have access to, like the people in my academy, you don't just want to follow the script because it's a script and it's there and you think that it's magical. No, you want to find out what's the thought process behind it. How can I put this in my own words? A lot of times, if you feel like you're not getting success following your coach's program or following your coach's stuff, it's because you're supposed to take what they have, which is their framework, adjust it to your purpose and your mission in life, which is why you need clarity. And then it all works out. You see what I'm saying? Like, it has to work for you. It has to be in your words. The path is there. So you're not starting from scratch. The question may say, good morning, how's the weather there? But you don't like that question. But why is that question there? Oh, That is a question to break the ice. Well, what's a question that I feel more comfortable breaking the ice with? I think I want to ask this. Then ask the question you want to ask. The essence of the thing is what you're in coaching for. You're not in coaching for like a carbon copy of the person. You don't even want that. What you need to learn is the essence of the thing. Okay, so let's move on. Number 3 is vet the source. So number 3 for like how to not regret your investment is vet the source. A lot of people get romantic. Can I just be totally honest with you guys? We love a good emotional roller coaster. Okay. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Why do we go to the movies? Entertainment. What makes a good movie? What do people say? Oh, I laughed. I cried. Oh, I fell in love with the characters. I just felt so good. And sometimes when you are too emotional, you can't make strategic decisions because your emotions can be deceptive. Your emotions can be deceptive. So when you're vetting the source, it's like, okay, this is what this person is telling me. This is what they've achieved in their life. This is what their clients have achieved. What do I want? Where do I fit into the way that they're taking me on this journey? What do I want out of it? And if you're unclear about that, or you're curious about that, or you want to adjust what they've taught you to you, which is what you should be doing, because your individuality will sell with structure, not without structure, with structure, then you want to ask questions. You want to be more inquisitive so that you're not worrying about vetting the source. But a lot of times people love people who built a business in a way they've never built it. They would never build it, right? So if someone built their business doing 200 free talks, but you have zero interest in doing that, then that's not going to work for you. If they built their business through pure strength, right? Like they read books every day, they were dogged, they were intense about getting their stuff done, but you know you're not an intense person, your desire isn't that strong for it, then that's not going to work for you. So what piece of it will work for you? Focus on those pieces and get the results. And I'll be honest with you, this is where a lot of people, I think, miss it, and they end up squandering an opportunity that otherwise could have been a real blessing for them, is they don't want to see the beauty in what they have. So for me, I'll join a coaching program, and if I learn one thing that I can leverage for the rest of my career, I'm good. I'm like, cool, check, got that. Got my ROI from that. I implement it consistently. I see the results in my business, and I take full accountability for those results. So number 4, take full accountability. Let me tell you the biggest waste of your time. Can I just tell you the biggest waste of your time? I'm just going to be honest with you. And you don't even have to comment on this. You may be like, she all in my business and I ain't going to comment on it. But the biggest waste of time is complaining. It really is. The biggest waste of time is complaining. Every investment that I have made and every investment that you have made, I assume that you're a savvy audience. Most people in my audience are real smart. You know what I mean? They're real smart. So, I work with really intelligent people, either by their degrees, tell the world they're really, really smart, or their experiences tell the world that they're brilliant, whether they know it yet or not. So I work with smart people. I attract smart people. You're watching this, you smart people. You didn't buy nothing haphazardly. You didn't. There was a reason why you made a particular investment. You need to hold on to that reason and get what you came for from the person you bought it from. But that requires you to take full accountability. So it can't be like, I just feel like, back to them manipulative feelings, child. Them feelings will get you caught up, right? Because what I see sometimes is people are like, well, I just feel like I didn't get what I needed to get, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, why not? Did you ask the question? Did you say what you wanted? Were you clear? Like, if you got everything they told you that you paid for, then cool. And guess what else? This is going to mess some people up. I'm going to say it anyway. I'm feeling froggy, right? Let's say you didn't get everything you paid for. Let's say you got 25% of it. Be honest with yourself. If you implemented the 25%, what would your ROI be? Because I can tell you for certain that I have never gotten a huge ROI on complaining and blaming other people for problems that I have the power to solve. What I have done is lost confidence by doing that. And I'm gonna give you an example. We've made bad hires before. We just have. And I don't have too many coaching horror stories. Like there are some things that I've realized in certain programs that I didn't necessarily love, and some people that I was like, I don't gotta work with them no more. But that doesn't mean that they did not give me an ROI, because I can trace certain relationships back to certain investments that I've made. And that one relationship has resulted in so much positivity for my life and for my business that I was still blessed in that situation. So for me, I don't do too much complaining about investments that I've made because like you, I'm smart. I vet the source. And when I work with people, I'm very clear on like, they're going to teach me this. They do this well. I want to learn that skill set. I'm going to ask questions to learn that skill set. And I'm going to take that skill set with me along my life's journey forever. Okay. So when you make investments, it's like, all right, what do I know I'm going to get just by being in their environment, just by being in their space, just by having the ability to ask them questions? What do I know I'm going to be able to get? But you got to take full accountability because I'm going to tell y'all the truth. Okay. I'm going to give y'all a specific, and it's good so I can say his name. I joined Power Your Launch Marketing Accelerator with Abu. And I probably did 25% of the program. It was a Facebook ads program. And after doing the 25% of the program, I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to hire an ads manager. This ain't my ministry. But from that 25%, I can trace a significant amount of ROI. Like definitely made my money back. Definitely still run really good ads now. Know how to do it myself. And what it did for me is it gave me enough information to start managing other people. And I went back and paid for his monthly program so I can finish the rest of the program when I have time to. But that's an example of I didn't finish the program. I then can't go and say, no, that program ain't good. I ain't even need all that. I ain't need that. So I skipped that. I did it. No. He has had success in this particular area. He has put the time in to give me resources to get success in this area. If I only implement 25% of what he has given me access to, then that is my fault. It is here. The Speak Your Way to Cash book is now available for you to purchase. Go to Amazon to get your audio, Kindle, or hardcover copy of the book. And we have a paperback copy. Okay, so you can get it on Audible and listen to it. And I read it myself. So if you love the podcast, you will love the audiobook. Go get it now. Speak Your Way to Cash, how to start at the top of the speaking market instead of working your way up from the bottom. A bit about the book. It's broken down into 6 parts, and it is over 260 pages of goodness, okay? Part 1 covers mindset. Part 2 covers getting yourself in the press. Part 3 covers assembling your 6-figure offer. Part 4 covers inviting people to work with you, sales. Part 5 covers delivering an outstanding speech. And Part 6 covers legalities that every speaker needs and how to build a team. I mean, literally, what did we leave out? Nothing. So go to Amazon and grab your copy today. And let me know you did it too. Thankfully, I was able to get an ROI on the 10%. And sometimes because of all of your obligations and all of your time, you may decide, I'm Gucci with that 25%. Cost benefit analysis. I'm Gucci with that 25% because I know I'm gonna make my money. I'm gonna hire an ads manager and I know enough to be dangerous. But that's not the best investment of my time. So you wanna figure that out, but you have to be willing to look yourself in the mirror and say, man, I didn't give this my all. And because I didn't give it my all, I'm not getting everything that I could have got. And let me talk to my spiritual folks for a minute, because I think sometimes, and I hear this a lot. My baby's upstairs running around. So I'm about to go soon. But I hear this a lot. I don't feel led to do this. It didn't feel right with me. It felt uncomfortable for me. And if you're not extraordinarily discerning, you will confuse the resistance that you feel towards doing the work with a spiritual unction for you to take no action. Do you hear me? Do not confuse your resistance for doing the work with a spiritual unction to take no action, because it is scriptural to study. It really is. It is scriptural to work diligently towards your goals. It is scriptural to have good relationships with people. It is scriptural to prepare. It is scriptural to expect your actions to be multiplied by the power of God, but your actions to be multiplied by the power of God, not your inaction necessarily, right? So you have to be careful. And being a daughter of a pastor, being a minister, I've preached sermons, being someone who has studied the Bible, I often find that it is misrepresented because, again, that emotionalism, it gets us sometimes. So I am pleading with all of y'all that believe in the Lord to make sure you are properly representing the work ethic that the Bible discusses, period. It is my biggest, one of my biggest pet peeves is people are so spiritual and they believe in an all-powerful God, but don't have the power to be disciplined. I don't get it. It literally, I'd be huh? I literally talked to my husband because he went to seminary and I'm babe, I was like, is there a good example in the Bible of someone that did absolutely nothing, had absolutely no trials, felt good about every assignment God gave them, and God just blessed them because God wanted them to be rich? Is that example in the Bible? And he was like, nah, I ain't read that one. So be careful. And also be careful about confusing the fact that God will have favor on your life with the fact that you don't have to work for something. You still need to prepare, because guess what? If me and you go for a contract, we go for the same contract, me and you, I prayed before that meeting too. And so this notion that somehow like God cares more about you having money over there than he cares about me having money over here, like that isn't even, as far as I know, based on my relationship with Christ, his goal is to win souls and people back to him. He wants us to lead people to him. Us looking successful can sometimes do that, but there are also people who don't have wealth and riches who still are able to win souls for Christ. So this narrative that's out there in the coaching space, I wasn't even going to go here because this is so, oh Lord, this narrative in the coaching space that like, God wants me to be rich and God cares about me more. That's why I got this Louis bag or this Gucci bag. That is not scriptural to me. But if you think it is, I'm willing to be corrected. Hey, if you think that's what the Bible is about, then please tell me wrong, because I know people that pray hard, that there is no way God does not love them, that have power, that have peace beyond understanding. And guess what? They don't necessarily have riches. And guess what else, guys? Success doesn't even equal just riches. To me, I feel more successful when I have money in my bank account, but that litmus test is a personal one. It just is. And guess what? Even when that money is gone, I'm still grateful to God for the relationships that I have and the relationships that I'm formed. And I'm most grateful for the skill sets that he has allowed me to be disciplined in. But I plead to every believer that's watching this video to stop misleading people into believing that because your bank account has an extra zero, God loves you more, because that is not the Bible that I read. And so sometimes people wonder why I don't always mix like what I believe like spiritually with my message, because I never, as a minister, as someone who has preached before and who's done that, I've never, ever wanted to be accused of manipulating people. I want you to make every decision to work with me based on a sound mind and reasonable judgment. You see what I'm saying? Now, thank God the life that I live has led people to ask me, well, what do you believe? Where do your morals come from? What do you pray about? Who do you pray to? And I've had an opportunity to witness to those individuals, but be very clear and be very wary of people who pimp the gospel. It's almost like, and I have a father who's a pastor. See, I wasn't going to go here, but we're going to go here anyways. I have a father who's a pastor, and my dad didn't take a salary for so long from the church for whatever reason. That's what he chose to do. And I don't know what he does now. I'm not sure how he handles that now. And my father-in-law, also a pastor. Okay. Great people. Never got rich off the backs of their communities. Never tried to pimp and manipulate the word of God, ever. Prayed, worked for people 20+ hour days, didn't even sleep praying for people. You know what I mean? Like they went hard for the community. Like I've stood outside on the west side of Chicago witnessing to people who were drunk and on drugs and everything else because I was with my father-in-law and my husband and we were doing work in the community. So when I think about that and I think about the criticism that the church has garnered for pastors wanting to live a comfortable life, but how we applaud and praise business coaches who are comfortable like being manipulative with the word of God, like I don't get that at all. And so maybe I really wasn't going to go here today. I promise you, but I did talk to one of my friends about this earlier. Maybe this message needs to be heard. God still loves you, even if your bank account doesn't have a lot of money in it. Business principles are in the Bible. People who utilize the business principles, study to show that self-approved, being diligent, being wise as serpents, innocent as doves. And even that scripture, your gifts will make room for you. Did you all know that scripture doesn't mean that like, if you're talented at something, you're going to just get all this stuff? It actually talks about how your gifts, like you will, if you bribe someone for something, like it'll actually open the door. You need to come with a gift before someone gives you something. And it was based on the times, like so much stuff that I see online about the Bible and business isn't necessarily ethical. And that's why I want everyone who wants to learn something or do something, be okay with anything that is powerful, that is worth it for you, can pass inspection. It just can. It just can. But I don't like when people get manipulated. I just don't. I don't like it. And so sometimes I choose to refrain from talking on certain topics because I also don't want to be like, I don't want to be like a clickbait person. But the fact of the matter is, the truth really will help some of y'all get free from some stuff, because some of you guys are so lacking in confidence, not because you don't have great skills, not because you don't know who to invest in, not because you don't know what to do with your money, but because you don't have confidence. And that is because you are listening to people who tell you that your confidence is tied to stuff, and it's not. It's not. So if no one told you this, I want to be the one to tell you your confidence, your self-worth is tied to who and whose you are, not what you have. Period. Two Christians going out for a contract. Does God love me more than her? Is that why I got the contract? No, it's not. It could have been strategy. It could have been like the favor that I have because me and her went to college together and the other girl didn't. Be very careful about putting off blame on things that are not, like 1 + 1 = 2. 1 + 5 does not equal 2. Be very careful about changing the equations around, and then you blame the wrong actors. And again, that goes back to accountability, because sometimes people feel like if I'm not successful, it's because God doesn't want me to have success. He wants me to live in this house. He wants me to live in this community. He wants me to play small. He wants me to be humble. He doesn't want, baby, sometimes that don't got nothing to do with the God that you serve. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a good person, I don't think God cares. I don't think God wants you to necessarily live a life that makes you uncomfortable. If you have a desire to do more, to have more, then look at the Bible, look at those principles, study to show yourself approved, trust yourself. And then you know what else you need to do? Because this is a big one too. You all have to trust yourself enough that if you make the wrong investment, if you make the wrong decision, it will bless you anyways. Let's talk about real faith here, because sometimes you feel so stagnant because you have decision fatigue. You're like, what if I do this? And what if I do that? And what if I do this? And what if I do that? But if you are a believer, right? If you're a believer and you make the wrong decision, you're going to have to trust that even in making the wrong decision, you can still be blessed. You can still be blessed. I'm gonna prove it to you. I went to the University of Illinois, 2.1 GPA, partied way too hard. I was drinking, I was kicking it, I was trying to date these little boys. I was just out, like I was living my college life. I ain't gonna say best life, right? But I was living my college life. And there were so many times that I could have died on the street because I was in a car with somebody after a party and I didn't know how much they had to drink before they got in the car, or I didn't ask if they knew where we were going, or if, you know, like so many times in my life, things could have went awry while at the University of Illinois because of my behaviors, because of my decisions. Now, because of that decision to party, to kick it and all that stuff, it didn't mean that I wasn't going to be successful. It didn't mean that I couldn't get the job in the life of my dreams, but it did mean that there would be consequences for those actions. Sometimes you're thinking that God wants you in a particular place. No, you can move. You can make a different decision. There may still be consequences for your actions, but it does not have to be a permanent jail sentence. It just doesn't. It doesn't. Okay? So I want you all to take your power all the way back. Them little boys, them little boys ain't doing, they ain't had nothing on my husband, okay? I want you all to take your power back. And I want you to figure out, okay, what do I really want in my life? All right? If I get it, how will it bless people, right? That's an important thing. Because if you are someone who lives a life of spirituality, you believe in God, you believe in Jesus, you believe that you're here for a greater purpose, then you have to figure out if you got everything you wanted in life, who else would get everything they need in life? If it's no one, then your mission is not edifying, right? So that's probably why you're not going towards it hard enough, because even if you got everything you're going for, it wouldn't change the lives of anybody else. And as much as we like to talk about money and speaking our way to cash and everything over here, I know for a fact that my motivation, I do like getting the check. Let me be clear and let me be honest. But outside of that, I have to feel as though I'm making impact on the lives of others. If it was just about money, I could have stayed at corporate and became a millionaire. I wasn't at one of them jobs people talk about where it's like, oh, I'll never get to $1 million. No, I would have gotten to $1 million per year in a salary. So it's not about just easy money for me. It's how many Black women, how many brown men can I get to walk into corporate America, not as employees, but as vendors, waiving their 5 or 6 figure contract. And then how many consultants and experts can they then employ and can they then hire? Like how many people can I transfer confidence to so that they go out into the world and shake up the planet with their gifts and with their lives? How many people can I convince that you don't have to live a life and be stuck there? If you change your mind, you can change your life. Like how many people would be transformed if I went out every single day and full throttle had that mission? I think it's a lot. So I'm cool with that. I'm cool with being disciplined. I'm cool with putting in the work. I'm cool with doing what I need to do. I'm cool with spending some money and losing it. Let's be clear. I'm cool with spending some money and losing it because as long as I'm walking, as long as I'm on the path, my vision gets clearer and clearer and clearer every single time. If you need more clarity, you likely are not moving in the direction with the information that is before you. You don't need more information. You need more movement. Okay. So there we are. Number 5 is, I'm going to give y'all number 5 and then we're going to close out, right? Determine that whatever you need from your program, your coach, your service provider, whatever it is, you will leave with it. Now, this is a resolve that you have to have. Whatever you need, you will leave with it. Because once you make that decision, you start going into programs very differently. You're like, okay, I see this. Oh, that looks like something I need to leave with. I said I was going to leave with that, and I'm going to leave with that knowledge. Let me dive deeper here. Let me ask more questions here. Whatever it is that you need to leave with. Let me tell you what fear and resistance does. This was a really good point, and I really wanted to make sure you all got this because it's critical too. What fear and resistance does, you make a decision. If you're shaky on the decision, if you're scared about the decision, then what happens next is you make the investment. Let's say you're working with it. Let's say, perfect example, you're coming to Speaker Ready Cash Live. You pay for your ticket to Speaker Ready Cash Live, but you're like, ooh, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be good. I don't know. I don't know. Then you get your welcome email. If the lens with which you made the investment was fear and resistance, then you're looking at everything trying to prove yourself right. What does that look like? That looks like you can't even enjoy the program or the event because you're looking around like, well, I thought it was going to be different people. And I thought we would have one more breakout session. And I thought like you're looking at everything through the lens of fear and resistance because and it's human nature. We want to be right. We want to be right. So if we're not right, if the facts say we're not right, likely what happens is our brains will start trying to prove ourselves right, even absent the facts to back it up. So you want to make sure when you make a commitment to something, when you agree to do some coaching, you agree to do it, you do not look at it through the lens of fear and resistance because those emotions will manipulate you out of your blessing. They will. But if you, on the other side, make a decision like, look, I'm paying the money, I didn't already pay. I'm going to get everything that's for me. I'm going to meet every attendee. I'm going to start joining the group now and I'm going to meet people and I'm going to email them and we're going to see if we can do some coffee chats. I'm going to start listening to more podcasts and writing down my questions so they can be answered in advance. I'm coming to all the pre-event stuff. I'm like, it's a whole different lens. It's a whole different lens. So sometimes you need to check the spirit with which you bought things. Like, what was your intent? And this requires you being open-minded enough to be wrong. And that's hard for a lot of us, self-included, right? No one wants to feel like, dang, I made the wrong choice. Man, I didn't evaluate this right. But be careful if all your decisions are emotional ones, because your emotions can be misleading. And that is the power of discipline. When you are disciplined to do something, motivation is great. You feel good when people are talking to you. It's amazing. It feels great. It feels like a warm blanket on a cold day, okay? But after the motivation wears off, discipline is, I am going to act in spite of my emotions because my desired result is so much bigger than my temporary feelings. That's discipline. And you have to have discipline to reach your ultimate goal and your ultimate purpose. So hopefully this was helpful. If it was, tag your friends, share it out. And if you're like, oh my gosh, this was good, I need more of this, then you should join me at Speaker Ready Cash Live. Go to speakerreadycash.com/event. All the info is there. But yeah, so I want to see you there. I hope this was helpful. I had to say what I said tonight, and I'm grateful that I had the courage to say it. It was not intended to offend anyone, but if it made you think about some things, then pray about some things and let me know. Send me a DM if it blessed you. But share this out and I'll see you guys later. But y'all, look, the power is already in your hands. You likely already have information that you could be taking action on. And if you're not taking that action, you got to figure out why. You have to figure out why, because that is going to unlock your next level. All right. Talk to you guys later. Have a good night. All right. Wasn't that interview amazing? If you're anything like me, you have pages full of notes. But here's the thing. Before you head out, I want you to go to facebook.com and join the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook group. That is where I am. That's where a ton of other speakers are, a ton of other people who listen to the show. We all congregate there and chat. And it's 100% free. Now, if you're ready to take your speaking career to the next level, I have 2 ways for you to do that. One, you can go to ashleynicolekirkwood.com/SYWTC live replay and pick up the live replay. That training is 7 modules, chock full of information. It's crazy. Go over there, read all about it. Or if you want a more personal experience, you already know that you want to be a speaker. You're ready to fully commit and you want someone to walk you through it and save you tons of time Googling and doing it on your own, then book a VIP day with me. You can go to ashleynicolekirkwood.com, scroll down until you see the VIP day section and get more information on that there. All right. Thank you guys again for watching. Please do not forget to leave us a review. That is how we keep this train rolling and get some of the best speakers in the world to get on this show. So please, please, please leave a review. Shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram, and Facebook in the Speak Your Way to Cash group, Instagram at the Ashley Nicole Show. And I'd be more than happy to chat with you and say hi. All right, y'all have an awesome, awesome day.